Emmy Award-winning UPN's Eyewitness News at 10.
No Xboxes and Toys R Us.
Well, it's here. The hottest toy of the holiday season went on sale early this morning, and already it's gone. We've got the latest on Xbox madness. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for checking us out here on Eyewitness News at 10. I'm Denise Saunders. Well, many of you were out in line for hours this morning for the new Xbox 360. It's the it gift of the season. Eyewitness News reporter Carol Wilkinson joins us live from Best Buy. And Carol, from the looks of things, if you don't already have one, it's probably too late?
I think it's too late, Denise. I tried to buy 3 or 4 of them, couldn't get my hands on not one. I'll tell you, but it seems that many, like me, were hoping to get their hands on the new Xbox 360 and get the holiday gift-giving season started early. But instead, thousands of people across the country spent hours in line trying to get their hands on the new Xbox, only to come up empty-handed.
My son wanted one for his birthday. That's before Christmas. So I've been all over the city. It's rough.
Rough because Microsoft didn't ship enough to meet the tens of thousands of pre-orders. But Microsoft says its factories are working around the clock to ship more Xboxes to stores nationwide.
If people are persistent, they should be able to find an Xbox 360.
But persistence may not be enough. This Toys R Us store in New York City won't have any new game consoles for weeks, and many may be unable to find an Xbox 360 in time for holiday gift giving. Demand has been so overwhelming that some desperate buyers are turning to online shopping giant eBay, where the Xbox 360 is priced at $2,000 or more. But for those who were lucky enough to find the basic version, which retails for $300, well, they're already praising the new system.
I've actually got to play the system, and it's phenomenal. It's great.
Now, the fans of the new Xbox 360, and there are a growing legion of them, well, they say they love the new Xbox because they can play music, DVDs, they play games, and it also displays digital photos. Reporting live, Carol Wilkinson for Eyewitness News.
Well, Carol, you may have answered my question. I'm thinking the price of the new Xbox seems to be on everyone's mind. What are some of the differences between the basic version and the more expensive one?
I'm glad you asked that. Well, here's the difference. As opposed to the $300 model, the $400 version has a removable hard drive, and it can play older Xbox games. So if you get one, I'm coming over to your house.
All right. Sounds good, Carol. I'll see you there. Well, if you're still in search for the Xbox 360, we've got some good news for you tonight. We found some in southern Nevada. I'll tell you where later in the show. Well, sadly and unfortunately, some people aren't waiting in the lines to get the new video game. They are stealing them from customers. Police in North Dakota are looking for 2 men who reportedly mugged a 17-year-old right after he bought the game system. Officers say the boy suffered injuries to his face. Police think the robbers were waiting for the boy to come out of the store, thinking he may be an easy target. Well, it's the second time this year a construction worker has died after falling at the South Coast Casino. It happened around 3:30 this afternoon. We don't know the name of the victim, but Metro Police say the man's death was an accident. You may recall the other death at the casino involved a construction worker back in September. His death was also ruled an accident. Well, Metro Police say sexual assault detectives arrested a convicted child molester just minutes before 2 teenagers arrived for a sleepover. Working on a tip, police arrested 56-year-old Clayton Russell Penny at his East Sahara apartment on Friday. He is charged with failing to register as a sex offender in Nevada, which is a felony. Penny was convicted of child molestation in 1983 and 1985 in San Diego. Police believe Penny has lived in Las Vegas for about 10 years, working with young cadets in the U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Corps in Las Vegas.
Well, he's been here for at least 10 years. We don't know what he's been doing. He has a history, he has a record, so there might be kids out there that have come into contact with him that he's crossed some lines with.
Penny goes to court tomorrow. 3 Las Vegas families are relieved tonight. They believe they got some justice. The woman who was driving the car that killed their family members was taken into custody. Veronica Schmidt killed 4 people, 3 of them teenagers, on March 14th when she passed out in her car. While the victims' families were pleased with today's ruling, they still want more punishment for Schmidt. Eyewitness News reporter Cindy Cesare has more on today's emotional decision.
Actually, let's go ahead and remand her in custody now. She's supposed to bail. There were cheers from the victims' families. They were happy that Veronica Schmidt was finally going to jail. Even though it was for a warrant for failing to appear in court for a domestic violence incident, this was good news for the families in a very tragic event.
I'm happy. I'm very happy. At least some kind of justice. She's in jail today. At least I know that she's in jail today. And, you know, I'm getting some justice for my son.
It was her son, Reggie Williams, and his two best friends, sisters Angelica and Raquel Jimenez, and another woman, Samantha Allen, who were all killed at this bus stop on March 14th. Schmidt passed out in the car that she was driving while on the antidepressant Xanax. Schmidt's attorney, Jason Weiner, says that she was just diagnosed 6 weeks ago with a condition in which her brain is sending scrambled signals to her heart, causing her to become unconscious. He believes it was that medical condition which caused the accident, not the Xanax use. He explained in court today that her medical condition was one of the reasons she went to Hawaii and didn't appear in court for the domestic violence charges.
She was receiving death threats. She was very ill. She has since had a pacemaker put in. Basically, Your Honor, she couldn't comply.
But the victims' families don't buy it and say her lack of remorse and failure to apologize shows guilt.
No, it's too late. It's too late. She should have did it the night she killed my girls. If she would have told me then and was sorry, I might have felt different.
Cindy Cesare for UPN's Eyewitness News at 10.
Well, the end of a high-profile criminal case involving a Florida middle school teacher has ended with a plea deal. Deborah Lefebvre admitted she had sex with a 14-year-old student. She pled guilty to 2 counts of lewd and lascivious battery in order to avoid jail time. She will serve 3 years of house arrest and 7 years probation. According to a Florida prosecutor, Lefebvre received the deal at the request of the victim's mother. She wanted her son to avoid the trauma of testifying in court.
I want to apologize to the court, to the young man involved, and to his family for my actions. I accept full responsibility for my actions, and I am very sorry for everything which has occurred.
Lefebvre's DNA will be listed in Florida's sex offender database, and she will have to attend a mandatory sex offender program within the next 4 years. Well, another teacher has a different kind of problem. This time, a pre-K educator in a New York Catholic school is out of a job because she is pregnant and not married. The school says it's an issue of morality. In her termination letter, the school says, quote, a teacher cannot violate the tenets of Catholic morality. But the New York Civil Liberties Union says it's an issue of discrimination and it's filed a federal complaint. They, along with the teachers, say the firing is illegal and discrimination on the basis of sex and pregnancy. Well, one man is dead after he allegedly pointed a gun at motorists on Georgia roadways. Police say 47-year-old Charles Lee Lamb had reportedly been pointing a rifle at passing cars when he was pulled over by a deputy. When he refused to drop his gun, the deputy opened fire and killed Lamb. The case is now under investigation. Well, it didn't take Heidi Fleiss too long to part ways with her Nevada brothel partner. Fleiss announced last week she would be heading to Southern Nevada to partner with an established brothel owner to start an all-male brothel. Now the former Hollywood madam says she is going it alone and plans on creating what she calls Heidi's Stud Farm in Nye County. But she could be in for a legal battle. That county prohibits convicted felons like Fleiss from working in a brothel. A man who calls himself Spider-Man is under arrest tonight for trying to climb up a Houston area building. The man has reportedly scaled several skyscrapers around the world, sometimes with his bare hands. Police found out about the man's attempted climb after he himself alerted the media trying to get coverage of the stunt. No word on if he will be facing any charges. An elderly Chicago couple is alive thanks to a frozen turkey. The couple's car crashed and burst into flames Sunday night. A man saw the crash from a couple of blocks away and ran to the scene. Now, witnesses say the man smashed the windows of the car with a 20-pound turkey and was able to pull the couple from the car. They were taken to an area hospital where they are listed in critical condition. Coming up next, where to get the Xbox 360. Plus, a mother drops her child at the babysitter's and then leaves for work shortly after she receives a call that her child is dead and wasn't with the woman she left him with. And one driver having a coughing fit makes a wrong turn. Where he lands up is next.
There are a lot of mysteries brewing on the grounds of the Nevada State Prison. But the I-Team's George Knapp has an exclusive on the biggest one of them all. Strange tracks frozen in time, sealed up in a cave for decades. Not even the state's top scientists know what made them.
We don't know everything about what's going on in nature.
The only TV crew ever allowed inside shows you the secrets of the cave. Thursday at 11 on Channel 8 Eyewitness News.
A 2-year-old boy is dead tonight after he was hit by an Amtrak train. California police say the boy's mother had dropped off the 2-year-old and her other son to her normal babysitter yesterday morning. But the regular babysitter then handed off the 2 children to another woman. The other woman was reportedly walking across the tracks with the 2 boys along with her own infant son when the accident happened. That woman is facing 1 count of felony child endangerment. The pilot of the Nike corporate jet that landed safely at an Oregon airport on Monday made some radical maneuvers to get the stuck landing gear into place. Captain David Newton circled the Portland metropolitan area for hours, burning fuel with the plane's right wing landing gear stuck in its bay. The aircraft made several aerial maneuvers in an effort to dislodge the landing gear. After 6 hours of burning fuel, Newton was able to successfully land the jet.
This is what we do as pilots. We train. We go to school twice a year. We're in the simulator. You get 1 flight in the simulator where everything works, and then after that, nothing works. You train for all of these occasions.
Well, Newton also says the landing wasn't as thrilling as people would think. He said a roller coaster is much more of a thrill. The jet was carrying Nike chief executive William Perez and other executives. Well, one driver is finding out a bad cough can lead to more than just a cold. A Phoenix man says a bad coughing spell caused him to lose control of his car, drive through a cinder block wall, and plunge into someone's swimming pool. The driver of the car was not injured and was pulled to safety by the pool's owner. So, you still want to get your hands on the Xbox 360? As we told you earlier in the show, we found some. Game World on South Durango has 3 left. The only problem is the store manager is selling them for $1,500 a piece. Nicholas Lassen says he stood in line for 14 hours, just like everyone else, to get them. He says with the help of friends, he bought 8. He sold 7 already today, and he has about 3 left, all for the price of $1,500.
Yeah, we've had a few complaints. Like, we had a couple of people who were like, you know, that's outrageous, you can't do that, that's against the law. But basically, like, unless you're under contract with Microsoft.
Okay, you can sell them at any price, he says, and as we showed you earlier, they are selling them on eBay for much more. Well, Running Rebels take on Hawaii tonight in a pretty big early season challenge. Dave McCann is up next to show us what happened. BYU eagerly accepts an invitation to the Las Vegas Bowl, and Cougar fans are already buying up the tickets. But first, you're getting a live look at the Las Vegas Strip on this chilly Tuesday night. Kevin Janison is just ahead with a look at the forecast. While southern Nevada is enjoying a mild November, residents in other parts of the country have their hands full driving through the snow. Take a look at North Carolina. Serious snowstorms have been covering roads and making holiday travel a real nightmare. The National Weather Service has issued a heavy snow warning through tomorrow. That's one thing I don't miss, the snow. Here's Kevin Janison with your neighborhood weather forecast. Kevin?
Yeah, Denise, we can all say just another beautiful day in Las Vegas. We had those blemishes in the sky, the waves of high clouds going through. Got some slivers of blue, gave us a fair amount of midday sunshine, and then thicker clouds, clumps of clouds, rode through this afternoon, made for a nice sunset, but another mild day temperature-wise. Check out these highs right in the middle of town in the mid-70s, latter part of November. Around the edges, we did see several neighborhoods stop in the upper 60s, and outside of town, the mountains soared to 58, 71 in Pahrump, Mesquite at 67, while down in Laughlin, the high was 73. Let me show you those clumps of clouds on the satellite picture. Here they come in waves, and they'll clear out for a while, then we'll get a new batch, then they'll clear out again, and a new batch will come through. The area of low pressure that is guiding this tropical moisture to come into our sky is still in place, but we think by late tomorrow, everything shifts off to the east, more clearness returns, and it sets the table for what should be a great Thanksgiving holiday weather-wise. Let's roll out the neighborhood forecast. First stop, Henderson, including Green Valley, Seven Hills, Anthem, about 72 for your high temperature. And because the clouds are the great equalizer from Spring Valley down toward Rhodes Ranch, those neighborhoods also will max out at 72. But from eastern over to Sunrise Mountain, look for a high of 74. and a mix of sun and high clouds. And overnight for the Las Vegas Valley, we're thinking mid-40s again. We'll call it partly cloudy, but we'll have a mostly cloudy period followed by some clearing, and then a mostly cloudy period. More high clouds tomorrow morning than in the afternoon. 70 the high temperature, some neighborhoods warmer as we showed you. And your 7-day forecast. Denise, you can grill it, you can smoke it, you can barbecue it, take that turkey outdoors. You might want to kill it first. And then shopping days also looking good, highs in the lower 70s. Check out what happens, though, late in the Thanksgiving weekend, early next week. Highs in the lower 60s, lows in the 30s. It will start feeling like December just about as we turn the calendar. Denise.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, so I wanted to clear up something, the Xbox story.
Go ahead, it's my time.
I know, hold on for a minute. Maybe a little confusing, but the bottom line, he does have 3 left. That's all they need to know, and that's my Christmas present to you.
Did you hear?